we just measured about 20,000 square feet in this whole building in 5 minutes. So some people don't really appreciate how fast we can scan things, and so I wanted to show you in this video how fast we can do something. And so this weekend, it was Memorial Day weekend, and so we went to the Chinese Man Theater in Hollywood to go see Mandalorian and Grogu. This is the outside of the IMAX theater. Um, and this is the inside. This is the front screen, and you can see some of the decorative elements around it. But what's really cool about this place is the ceiling. You can imagine what a cool intricate level of detail went into this. And actually, we had dinner with somebody that used to tap dance on stage here before it was converted to a theater, and he was telling us about when this was constructed, how difficult it was to get that ceiling approved by the building department. Apparently, it took a lot of work and prototypes with the engineers and everything. To capture this, I used this scanner. It's a mobile scanner, and it took about 4.5 minutes to do one capture, and about 45 seconds, to a minute to do the second capture. I'll show you those in a minute. And then this has not been processed, into architectural deliverables, but this is what the interior of this theater looks like. I'm going to switch this to an easier to see form. And so this is that theater. So that is the screen from the inside. That is the whole theater, and you can see the all that detail that we captured. I'll show you the walk that we did. This red thing is our pathway, and all these little bubbles, are photo points that were taken, and so you can see as we turn around here, this is really, we really did capture a crazy amount of detail on all those finishes up in the ceiling. And so obviously, if this were a professional project, I would have brought my 10-foot survey pole, and we would have gotten up all around in that ceiling area. But yeah, this is what we were able to get. Now this is the bundle cloud, and so you can see here we actually walked out into the concession area. There's a lot of people here because this was fully populated while we did it. We only had maybe 5 minutes between the end of a movie and the beginning of the next showing, and so all of this was done very quickly. So let me switch over to the true slicer, and this only shows a narrow strip, and let me switch back to intensity. So this is just the upper level, and then these fringes are curtains. And so that's why we're looking at a little bit of like we have straight edges here, and then these are a little more. You see just a little more variation there. So as we go, we can go up and down. This is going down to the front row, and as we come back up, that is our level. That's our concession area, behind here in the back, and as we come up, we're now out of the seating area entirely, and then that's some of the ceiling detail that we were getting above the ceiling. Yeah. All right. So then this we can do in multiple directions as well. And so just to get this, let me turn off the walk. And so you can see we got all the rows of seating, and the concession area. There were some exhibits over there. And so, this kind of cuts around so you can see all the detail from the walls across. So we really have the full experience. And you remember the screen is curved in the front, and so we're seeing that curve, as we cut across it like that. And and then of course the x-axis, goes from front to back, and so there is the concession area. As you walk in, that's where you go, the first place you go. And then as you come in a little farther, there's popcorn, and this is the entry vestibules into the theater. And then as you come closer, we see all those chairs forming. From this angle, this is the very front, looking backward, toward concessions. And then as we go up here, we see stairs and all that seating, and then the facade of the area above. And then as we get back, this is more that's the concession area, where the popcorn's sold. And then we are into the entry vestibules where people first enter the theater. All right. So let me go back here. This is our true. Okay, so I'll just show you really quickly. If we go to color from scanner, this is really dark. I need a different background. So this is just what we were able to get, the detail that we were able to get in about 5 minutes in this place, but more than enough for dimensions and spatial logic. And, we would probably need, we could probably spend another hour in here, just getting up into all the ceiling details to make sure that we had everything if we wanted to detail this, for a much higher level of finish. But that's about how this works. We did this whole thing, this whole scan in about 5 minutes, just walking around, and this could easily be converted into CAD or Revit, for a quick and dirty model. We've done about this is our third theater, that we've done, and in the last couple months. We just had a client that hired us to do two theaters. One was considering, the act in one was considering moving to another, and so they wanted to see what that setup would look like in the new theater. And so, because we were coming to this iconic place, I thought it would be really cool just to scan it and share with you what we were able to get out of it. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. So we got about 50 meters, give or take, from front to back. Got about 30, we'll say 37. So about 50 by 37 in meters. And so um, so we'll say 50 by 37 is 1850, and 1850 to square feet. So we're talking about 20,000 square feet in this place. We just measured about 20,000 square feet in this whole building in 5 minutes. Now, this is extraordinary because it's a mostly open space, and so it's much easier to do than, say a 20,000 square foot office, with, 50 different little nooks and crannies you need to get into. But as an idea, we can scan about 20,000 square feet in 5 minutes, and that would be useful for a quick test fit, for basic spatial layout. And if you don't need extreme millwork detail or anything like this, you just need a good enough estimate, of what your layout looks like. This is what we can do about 20,000 square feet in 5 minutes.